All right, grand rising, grand arrival, grand return. Peace and blessings to the righteous and repentant alike. This is Chief Sophia of the AmaruKhan Band of Indians, and we are here for a little, I'm just going to call this an election recap. I know everyone has now had their opportunity to deflect away from what they think happened, what they observed happen, whatever. But I would like to point out that in my daily transmutation reports, ever since the 1st of August, we went through the energy day by day. And as this day approached, the election approached, I over and over and over again said, now is the time for people to come together. Now is the time for unity. This would be a really bad time to keep trying to divide people in any manner. No, we don't need any division right now. What we need is everybody to come together and really decide to do the right thing. And by right thing, it's like we have to protect the interest of this land primarily. And these other interests that people think are important are secondary interests. And it's not, no disrespect or anything like that. You guys know I've made every attempt to be reasonable and respectful. But there's a lot of people who simply don't care. They don't care about anybody other than themselves. And I would say that it's disturbing, or I just wish that people would take the time now that quote unquote all is said and done and do a necessary self recap. Like, everybody now on the right or the left and this no vote group needs to reflect on if their behavior during this election was appropriate. Now is a good time for self-reflection. I can't do daily reports right now. I've been taken off of that project and put onto a different project. And so I can't do them. However, that doesn't mean that you can't stay in tune with the energy. It's just I can't do the reports. So you have to work a little bit harder to get into tune with your own energy and your own frequency. If you have your reading from me, then you can just go back to tapping into your energy for this wherever you are in your 36-day cycle. This is why it's important to invest in your spiritual advancement. If you saw the light language reading that I did with Kat, that is a service that can help you download light codes that are specific for you and, unpack those things and move forward. A lot of people don't want to invest in themselves. And unfortunately, that's not really going to be, that type of behavior is not going to be honored moving forward. You have to spend time investing in yourself and what you're trying to achieve. This whole concept of working hard to physical labor in order to achieve success is going away for a good chunk of people. And it's going to be replaced with various levels of automation, which I don't think is a bad idea. What I do see as a problem is that people they don't know themselves. They don't know what they would do if they didn't have to go to work every day. They don't know what they would do if they weren't complaining on the internet about Esau all day. What would you do? What would you do? I've been asking this question. I went back and looked at my videos. My first video on is it time to retire was in 2022. It is 2024, and there are people who watch my channel who still do not know what they would do if they could retire for themselves. Not, I'm going to help my son with his child. I'm going to help my daughter with her child. I'm going to take care of my husband. I'm going to this, I'm going to that. No. What are you going to do for yourself? When I worked with teen moms, this was the number one thing I talked to them about. And I can't believe that 20 years later, essentially, almost 20 years later, I'm asking the same question to people and they have the same ridiculous answers, which is about everyone else and not about themselves. I used to tell my girls, they shouldn't co-sleep with their children. They should make their children sleep in their own beds. We had a facility. In the facility, everybody had their own bed. They should make their kids sleep in their own beds. And I told them the number one reason for that is that when you want to have time to yourself, if you have not developed a child who can sleep by themselves, this is going to lead to huge problems when you want to go out and do something by yourself, or you want to leave the kids with, a friend, family member, whatever the case may be. If you don't know if your child does not understand that it's their responsibility to sleep by themselves, then you've got a child who's always going to be right there with you. And I have a friend whose daughter slept in the bed with her until she was like 14. Like 14. And so I'm saying this to you all again, like I did 2 years ago. Okay? Coming very soon, you will have to have something that you are interested in that you can do. Not related to earning you money to earn you a living. Not related to that, but something that will fill your days with joy. And it cannot be anybody else. It has to be you. Something you can do to fill your days with joy. This includes people who are solely 100% devoted to the Creator. That's not going to work moving forward. You have to have you are a co-creator. If somebody is a co-creator, they cannot lean on their other creator. They are a creator in their own right. It is not that you lean on your creator to tell you what to do. Everything that you do is going to be self-directed. It may be spiritually enforced, or spiritually mandated. Like most of the stuff I get is mandates of stuff that I don't want to do and I don't want to be involved in. But that's me. That's not going to be most people. Most people are going to be, what is it that you want to do? What I realized is in 2020, I was faced with this question because everything was closed where I was. I couldn't go to work, one of my jobs. I could go to my other job, but I was already by myself, so I was already fully in charge of my, autonomous time. And I already in 2020 had to take a hard look at myself being alone so much and basically having a lot of free time. I already had to take this hard look at myself and really come to terms with who I was. And then I got more spiritual in a specific direction. And then as soon as I knew that I was going to have to move, and as soon as I had the opportunity, I got out of Dodge. So I already had a strategy for accomplishing what I knew I need to do, because I had already sat in my energy. And this is before I knew anything about astrology. This was literally just me sitting with, okay, what do I like? What do I don't like? Or where do I want to move to? I know I need to move. Things are not going to get better here. And I don't want to be stuck here when things start to get really crazy. And I promise you, the area that I'm from, PG County, Maryland, these people are now talking like they want that area to remain basically a plantation. I saw someone say, PG County is a special place. You must raise your kids here. You can't leave. If you're here, don't leave. This area is very special. And I understand what's coming. When the government is cut down and all of these people lose their good government jobs, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? They don't really have hobbies. They don't really have lives. They don't really have interests. Everything is for either the government or the church or, the organization that they're affiliated with. They don't have real things that they do for themselves. And so what happens when a person like that, who lives for their job, who has arranged their entire life, 3 or 4 or 5 generations around working for the government, what happens when the government suddenly goes away? Because certain departments are going away. Make no mistake. The government is way too big. As a person who lived in the DC area my entire life, I am telling you, the government is too big. You have people there that do jobs that they will not tell anyone else what they do. And when they leave their job, 5 people have to replace them because they will not tell people how they did their job at all. Not just like, they won't tell they won't even tell people what they do. Because once you're in the government, you never have to leave. And I saw a post. I don't think these government workers know what's coming. What they can do with the AI is they can run all of your correspondence, whatever was on your computer, through the AI, and then ask the AI to summarize what you do. And then they can automate it. They're not going to need you. In the regular sector, the real world, where they have real jobs that are not government contracted, those people are, they're not as easily replaced. But the AI will replace the government. And I'm okay with that, because the government never needed to have a bunch of people working for it, because when you work for the government, you give over your sovereignty. So I would much rather people have an opportunity to engage their sovereignty than work for the government. But of course, that's not how they're going to interpret that. They're going to interpret that as, hey, I live in this house and it costs $800,000 and now I can't afford it. Even though, like, what business do you have moving into an $800,000 house? Who would do that? So these people that think that PG County is going to be this utopia, or whatever they think, even though they have like armed robberies every day and 8-year-olds with techs, carjacking people, somehow they think that is the Mecca that people want to go to. No, you stay there. That's fine. No one's gonna miss you in the real world, honestly. Those people, they don't have a plan. They don't have a spiritual plan. They owe these deities too much, and they don't understand the wolf deity has been defeated. What is the wolf deity? Hold on. Let me see. I got piles and piles of paper. I think it's in this pile. Because I listened to a reverse language video, and in the reverse language, Kamala was referring to herself as a wolf. Oh my goodness, you're not going to believe this. This is very fascinating. The wolf is related to basically between 0 and 12 degrees of Aries, and it is the literal first day of the lunar cycle, or the 15th, depending on if you're looking at it from solar or lunar. It's an unlucky day. So this entity, this wolf entity that has been controlling this false time, really the false timekeeper that has been controlling DC, is basically being removed and dethroned and defanged. And this is going to spread out to people in various ways. So I just came to the realization for myself that when I moved from the DC area to Florida, I did not do anything. I just kind of spent, I would say, almost a year and a half getting acclimated to the area and not forcing my will on this area, but really getting to know the energy of the area and finding places that I like to go, so on and so forth. I spent about a year doing that. And I reflect back on that time as time that was really well spent, because again, all the stuff that people are getting ready to go through now, if you did not go through this level of self-reflection in 2020, where you were by yourself and you really had to sit with your own energy, so on and so forth, you're getting ready to go through that now. Now, if you've been doing the spiritual work and you're tapped in with the actual energies, not what they say the energy should be or what people are trying to force the energies to be, but you're actually tapped in with the actual energies, then this time is not going to be difficult for you. But this time is going to be pretty difficult for people who have not spent this time doing any kind of reflection, and instead spent this time basically, for lack of a better description, they've spent this time blaming everyone else for what's going on around them. What does that look like? That looks like seeing a Trump rally with 100,000 people and saying, no, Trump's not going to win the popular vote. Seeing 3 Trump rallies in one day with over 100,000 people and saying, no, I've never even seen 100,000 people all in one place before these rallies. So if you've got a candidate who cannot put together 100,000 people at 3 different rallies in 3 different parts of the country, every single day for however long he's been, he did a rally every single day for like 3 rallies a day for like 2 straight weeks. So if your candidate that you're supporting with your energy, or if you're not supporting any candidate at all, let's talk about the ones who are supporting the candidate. If you're supporting a candidate who cannot pull those kind of numbers on a regular basis without some kind of celebrity hype, then you're not living in reality when you're saying, I don't understand how he won the popular vote. You're out of touch with reality. If you decided to sit this election out, which was a choice, when you see hundreds of thousands of your fellow Americans supporting a candidate and you just decide to sit it out, you're also out of touch with reality. I don't know what to tell you. You're out of touch with reality. If you think that that's an appropriate thing to do when you see thousands of your fellow Americans gather together for an event. Because the least you could do is say, why would thousands and thousands of people every single day go to these events? Line up for 24 hours in advance just to go to one of these events. Why would they do that? Your curiosity did not even convince you that it was worthwhile doing an investigation. You're out of touch with the reality, with the energy. You're not in touch with the energy. So I do realize that there's very few people who are actually in touch with the energy. So I do hope to begin the energy reports again, the transmutation reports, because I understand there's so many people they just totally out of touch with the energy for their own selves. And there has to be a bridge that brings people from that place to a place where they're in touch with their energy. So I do hope that I can begin those reports again so people have an opportunity to at least be able to identify the energy. But an inventory must be made of everyone's behavior over the last few months. Everybody needs to be doing an inventory check. This is Scorpio season. We are almost into the death card energy. We're certainly in the hangman energy. We're certainly in the hangman energy from a major arcana perspective. We're quite close to the death card energy. Now is the time to have the dark night of the soul and the reckoning with your own self. It's time for that. What it's not time for is to blame everyone else for everything. Like, oh, it's Americans' fault for voting. Oh, nobody should vote. That should, just go away. That's magic, and I don't want to participate in that magic, and yet you're out here trying to manifest. What do you think manifestation is? Any and all manifestation is magic. So if one type of magic is okay and another type of magic is not okay, you're out of touch. Magic is magic. It all has its place. And maybe you could say, well, this magic isn't for me. But given the stakes of what was going on, this was kind of important for people to participate in. And so the judgment has already been, the justice is already been called. We're out of Libra season. That's when the justice was being, because the justice card, as fantastic as it is, it has 2 points on it. You have the justice is holding a sword and the scales. So based on how your heart weighed out on those scales, it determines if you get the sword or not. And so a lot of people are just going to get the sword, and it's not about, oh, well, you have to do it for me or do it for, no. This was a individual. This test is not collective. Like I tell my daughter all the time, I don't get to decide whether you live in paradise or not, if you go to heaven or if you go to hell. That's up to you. And I'm not saying it in a way like, oh, you gotta go to church because this and that. I'm just telling her, it's nothing that I can do to affect that. You got to have your own relationship with the Creator. And that's what I'm saying to you all. You have to have your own relationship with the Creator. The Creator, nobody can do it for you. There's no guru on the internet who can have the relationship for you. When it's time to go, there's no guru on the internet that's going to save you from your karma. However, what people can do is help you become more in touch with yourself. That's what the light language activation does. That's what my readings and stuff do. That's the kind of stuff that you get when you come over here. You get things, tools to help you be more in touch with your energy. It has nothing to do with me. I am the facilitator. That's what I do. I facilitate energy. Okay? I'm an energy facilitator. That's what the female shamans, the shumans, that's what we do. We facilitate the energy. We don't necessarily get involved with the pleasantries of, oh, let's see how we can change things by doing this. Let's give that a try. Those are all very nice pleasantries that some other spiritualists are good at. But the ones who actually can walk you across the river and perhaps bring you back as a new and complete person, the ones who can walk you down to the 7th layer of hell and then walk you back up to the top, Aristogal, those would be the shumans. And that's what I do. I'm a spiritual interpreter. And so the fact that there's certain people out here that are spiritualists and are not actually helping people advance, like that's what the point of spiritual work is. Everybody doesn't need a spiritual interpreter. Some people just need a little motivation, a little church song and dance, and all that kind of stuff. But what no one needs is to be fleeced. Fleecing the flock is not acceptable. So there's people who engage in that kind of behavior. It's gonna cost you. Ain't none of it free. And a lot of things have been going unsaid, but they haven't been unnoticed. Not by me. I see what's going on. And I don't think that people are going to like what comes next. Let me just put it that way. There's a lot of people that's not going to like what comes next. And I have no say over it. Like I said in my video, my statement right after the election, if people are interested in reconciliation, I'm always open to reconciliation. Not that anybody has to apologize to me or anything like that. I'm just saying in general, I'm always open to reconciliation. I don't hold grudges because I just don't have it in me to do that. A lot of people do hold grudges. They hold them forever and ever, and they never actually forgive people. I actually don't have I have nothing against forgiving people when they've they feel like they've done things that are against their own best interest. Just understand that when you do things that are against your own best interest, it comes with a cost. And a lot of these spiritual people are not telling you what that cost is. And the cost ultimately is your soul. But in the short term, your cost is your energy, your power. How can you expect for your power to be turned on when you're giving your power away to someone else? This is why when I put out the call for the light workers to say the mantra, that I followed that up with a token of appreciation in the form of that mantra that you can use to protect your finances, because it's got to be an even exchange. I can't ask people to put out the energy to help, to extend and lend their energy to me and then not compensate them. That's against the rules. So if people are asking you to do different things and then they're not turning around and offering you some kind of a real compensation energetically, an energetic compensation, that's a huge problem. That's why you notice when, we fast, which we've been fasting since August the 1st, and our fast is not over until Pluto goes direct. When we fast, I produce really good content because that is my energetic offering. When people fast with me, they should expect to get really good, strong content. And that's what I provide. I provide content. In this case, I provided a mantra to help with a specific issue, but I'm always getting things and giving them away to people so that it's not a unfair energetic exchange. I mean, nobody had to tell you how to use the wheat and the sorghum and the millet to wait a minute, sorghum is millet. Barley. Yeah. The wheat, the sorghum, and the barley to get rid of these entities out of your energy. I didn't have to share that. I didn't have to keep digging in to really get a handle on how I didn't have to do that. That's totally outside of what is even mildly required. So anybody who is thinking that that's what had to be done, absolutely not. Didn't have to do any of that. And yet I kept digging to get a solution so that people would not have these entities messing with them. And it doesn't matter. The point of the matter is people should be doing a deep self-reflection right now. We are well in the Scorpio season. This is the death and rebirth season. This is the time for introspection. Everybody needs to be introspective into their own behavior and their action over the last few weeks. I feel very good about my behaviors and my actions because I literally said every single day since like August the 1st, look, in order to handle this election properly, in order to get the nomination and ultimately win the election, you have to be in sync with the energy. And there's only one person who is in sync with the energy. The other thing that I got right was the importance of the moon. All of the traditional astrologers ignored this mini moon. They talked about the asteroids, they talked about everything else, but they didn't understand the mini moon, and so they just ignored it instead of digging in on it. Now, I've got a deep dive prepared to discuss whenever I get the authorization to, but I know exactly why that moon is the one who is going to coronate the winner. And believe it or not, the mini moon actually came from, I just remembered, the Leo constellation. And so that's how, just by that fact alone, Trump wins, because he's Leo rising. Yeah, he's a Leo rising. And that mini moon was coming from the Leo constellation. So that's just, without even going to any more details, that's it. If none of the other planets are making, and Mars, which is not the warrior, we have to redefine what a warrior is, because they totally missed this too. Mars was in Cancer for the longest time, and then it rushes the day before the election to jump into Leo. Why would it do that? Of course, Trump has a Leo ascendant. It's obvious what's going on. Mars in Cancer was getting the orders from the Queen Mother. That's what Cancer is, the Queen Mother, the moon. And with her mini moon there, daughter, and they were delivering what they wanted to Mars. Mars rushes into Leo to coronate the winner. I mean, that's obvious. There's a million different ways traditional astrologers could have read this and been correct. And yet they didn't. And yet I did. Every day I was like, it's only one team who's doing this the right way, who's in sync with the energy. Nobody is getting out of this time period without being in sync with the energy. And so this is the last part of this, because I've gone on too long. If you are not in sync with the energy, you're not going to make it to the next level. I'm just going to be quite frank with you. I don't know what that means exactly. I do know that there's just no way, because everybody has to be energetically viable. There has to be energetic life in you in order to make it to the next level. So does that mean you're going into the NPC realm or whatever? I don't know what's going to happen, but I know one thing: everyone who is not an energetic match of the Pluto and Aquarius frequency, by the time Mars exits its shadow, which is Easter, is probably not going to count among the numbers of those who are going to make it. And what does going to make it mean? I don't know. This is kind of like channeling, okay? But that is what I do know. Everyone who is not taking his time to say, man, I should have did X, man, I should have did Y, man, I should have did whatever, or okay, I did the right thing, I made the right decision, I made the right choice, I read the energy the right way. Now, introspection goes on both sides. You identify when you were wrong, you identify when you were right, and it doesn't matter whether you were wrong or right, but you have to identify when you were wrong, and you have to identify when you were right. There's just no getting out of it. And so if you are incapable of doing that at this time, at this frequency, then you are more than likely not watching this video. People who are watching this video are probably in pretty good shape, but I'm telling you so that you can look out at your family and friends, and when you start to see things in them that you just simply don't understand, it's because they are just not in alignment with the energy. And that doesn't mean that all Trump supporters are in alignment with the energy, because if they are still trusting the plan, waiting for Q or whoever to come and save them, these are people who are not going to make it. They're not going to make it either. The whole point of this whole Trump thing was so that people would decide to take the bull by the horns and do what needs to be done for themselves. That's the whole point. If by now you're still incapable of doing that, then I'm not sure what's going to happen to those people who are unable to rise to the frequency. I don't know. I can't tell you. Because I don't know. Not because I wouldn't. I literally don't know what's going to happen to these people. I feel bad for them, of course. We never want to lose people. But I don't understand. I just don't see how you get to the next station. Whatever that means. I don't even know where that came from. I don't see how you get to the next station if you're unable to reflect at this time and say, oh, this was right, oh, this was wrong, so on and so forth. What I heard was correct, what I heard was incorrect. I was able to read the energy the correct way. Like, I saw a Hebrew brother on Twitter say that, okay, Revelation is just getting ready to start. It's like, no, we're at the end. Just to be clear, Revelation is over. Now we're at the part where they're Revelation 21. We are at Revelation 21, where the city with the light that shines from the inside is being built. That's where we are in Revelation. We're not at the beginning where things are getting ready to get hot. We're not at the fight. The fight is over. It's the whore of Babylon is dead. I'll share it on the channel, but listen to the reverse language of the concession speech. She's literally talking about the wolf, which is the fake timeline, the epitome, also in the story of Jezebel, she was eaten by wolves, hyena wolves. And so the wolf is done. Several times in the reverse, she refers to herself as the wolf. The wolf. The wolf is done. It's over. The battle is over. The book has been sealed. We're at 21. Like, literally. I have been saying we were at the end of Revelation for, I don't know, a year. And now, that's it. That's all she wrote. The book has been sealed. The people who are in the book of life, their names are written down, and the others are going to be cast into the lake of fire. That's it. It's a wrap. I don't know what to tell you. So that means you have to find something that's outside of the Bible to function from. You have to find something it's not outside of the Bible. You have to find a different book in the Bible from which you draw your prophecy. And there's lots of books in the Bible. But if you're not aware of the energy and the frequency of yourself, then you don't know who you are in the Bible. Then you certainly can't decipher the time. In order to decipher the time, the trick, the mystery, the secret of time is your ability to understand your position in it. If you can understand your position in time, you are capable of doing anything. The sky is the limit. But you have to understand your position in time. And I don't think that people are doing the proper self-reflection to get to that point. So I did want to point that out, especially since I'm not doing regular videos. I know it's reflected in the astrology. I'm still looking at the astrology. I see it, but not commenting on it right now due to the volatile nature of the timelines. It's best that I don't infuse my energy. But as a timekeeper, as a true timekeeper, in the order of Dinah, in the order of all Shumans, the female shamans, I will go back to doing the videos as soon as authorized, because these people don't, there's lots of people, I understand that there's a lot of people who don't understand the time, and it would be unrighteous of me to have an understanding of the time and not delineate that into the ley line. That would be selfish, I guess, of me. And so I am, like I say, I'm going to go back to doing them, but we just need a small break here, a small reprise to gather our thoughts, and I want to give people a chance to do some real reflecting. And then obviously I'll probably see that people are not taking it seriously. They think that whatever they did worked because they're just in a level of delusion that has not been seen in thousands of years, and there's going to be a flood, quote unquote, that wipes them out, perhaps, and it won't be a flood of water. It could be a flood of spiritual fire, because he said he wasn't going to destroy the earth with water anymore, and that was going to be fire. And so this could be just a revival of Americana that makes people who hate America so angry that they self-delete. I mean, they're already telling the story how X amount of people kill themselves a day, blah, 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 whatever. To try to explain away the 15 million fewer votes that Kamala got. Joe Biden got 81 million votes. Even Trump got 3 million extra votes in 2020. Where do 15 million voters come from? Where do 15 million people come from? Where are these people? And so there'll be some revelations related to 2020. So now the revelation is here. Before, the revelation was in the book. Now the revelation is here. It's going to be revealed here in the real world. It's not going to be just in a book where you don't get to see it. Now the revolution will be televised. The revelation will be televised. See, he got the song wrong. Yeah, he was right. The revolution won't be televised. It's going to be live. The revelation is going to be live. The revolution is not going to be televised, because the revolution happened deep inside of the individual people, but the revelation is going to be televised. And so that was a prophecy in and of itself that is also being fulfilled. Every prophecy got to be fulfilled. I don't think people understand that. And so you just want to know where we are in the story. And again, if you know yourself, you know where we are in the story. It's obvious. But if you don't know your energy, you don't know where we are in the story, and that's obvious too. And so again, I do hope that people consider, I can take some readings right now. Like I had already said, I was going to take some readings. I'll take readings in November and probably in December. And more than likely in January, I'm not going to be able to do any readings. So if you need your chart done, if you need your regular astroturography chart done, you need your solar tree, your lunar tree, your progressions tree, those kind of readings, y'all already know it's like $220 or so. You can send me an email. My email is in the description, and I'll put you on the list. I got a few that I have to take care of, and I haven't started working on them yet because I'm trying to focus my energy on a project right now that I need to really tap into the energy. But as soon as I'm ready, I do want to have people whatever readings I'm going to do, I want to have them lined up so that when I start doing them, all I have to do is do the videos and knock them out. It makes my life easier. So if that's something that's interesting, sounds interesting to you, definitely hit me up. Send me an email because my website is not available right now. So I hope to do more videos like this where I can actually talk. I just have been like, I just had to get another level of protection which I now have. And so I feel comfortable coming back and doing talks and stuff like that, longer form content that I have been really not doing, because I knew that my energy could still be harvested in a way that I didn't approve of. But now I know that it can't be, because I'm on a different timeline. These people, they have no capabilities of even catching up to my timeline. They just don't. And so now I'm not worried about that. Whereas before I was quite worried about that. That's why I wasn't making a lot of videos. Now I'm like, I'm so far ahead. I'm 2 years ahead of some people. I'm 10 years ahead of other people, because I started in 2014 studying sacred geometry, and there's people who don't know sacred geometry, they don't know anthroposophy, they don't know all of this stuff that's been going on with the quote-unquote deep state senior executive service. They don't know anything about the paperwork. I'm just light years ahead, so I don't feel like I can be threatened the way that I could previously. So you should be getting more long form content from me. So, all right, that's long enough. Peace and blessings, everyone. Shalom, and we'll see you in the next video.